Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me here. It's hugely exciting, I have to say. I'm someone who worked in tech a number of years ago. In fact, this is probably history for many of you, but I learnt at school to program BASIC on BBC Micros. Does anyone ever heard of those or seen those in a science museum, or your grandparents have told you about it? My dad bought me a ZX Spectrum and I was so excited that I learnt BASIC. And when I went to university, I learnt to program in machine code and Fortran 77. That shows how old it is. Oh yeah, look, there's a grandfather in the audience. And then when I went afterwards, I actually worked not very far from here. One of the big banks had their IT centre here. And I was a systems analyst working on financial software. I wasn't responsible for a crisis, and people were coding in PL1. And at those times, late 80s, early 90s, we thought the world was moving quickly. We thought it was an incredibly exciting place to be. And now, nowadays, it's moving even faster. And you may not realise it, but it's just incredibly fast how it is. Let me ask you a quick question, because many of us who learnt tech and IT in the old days, we knew that we were going to go work for a big company, a bank or someone else. That's where the money was. How many of you have graduated now want to start your own company or start your own enterprise? I know it's because you've been told to go and work for a big house first or something before you go off. And how many of you have got jobs lined up or are very excited about where you'll go next? Okay, a bit more enthusiasm sometime, but just remind me not to interview you for a job. I think it's really exciting the fact that you've now graduated over 700 guys from this place. I think that's hugely exciting. And I'm just going to tell you a bit about myself before I go on. I'm Syed Kamall. I'm a member of the European Parliament for London. My mates probably describe me as a sort of a North London boy done good. My parents came to Britain in the 50s, 60s. My dad, you've probably heard the story before. My dad worked on the railways, then he worked on the buses. Just like Sajid Javid, the Secretary of State for Community and Local Government, just like Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London. I am the son of a bus driver. And isn't it funny? You wait ages to tell a story of the son of an immigrant bus driver, and then 3 come along at once. And what's exciting about my job really is being the MEP for London. I think London is seen across Europe and by many of my colleagues as that hub for tech. Yeah, you can. It's all right. Don't worry. You can read a speech later. And what's very exciting, places not only places like this, East London, Shoreditch, elsewhere, but also even Croydon Tech City. People are talking about across Europe. One of the things that I've maintained an interest in tech is that the fact I'm very excited by how it keeps changing. And how it meets challenges. And I am now a member of Tech UK's Brexit Advisory Panel, which means I'm going to be helping firms find their way through the maze. I'm really delighted to be here to talk to some of you guys. But I cannot overemphasize the importance of digital skills. I can't overemphasize actually how much of a contribution you'll make. I mean, I know I went on and left tech altogether and became a politician, but it's hugely exciting. But one of the things is make sure you pass on those skills. Make sure that not only you benefit, but make sure others benefit. Think about some of the changes in society. Think about some of the exciting apps that are out there that actually help, help the socially excluded, help the digitally excluded, help actually bring rich funders in the developed world together with entrepreneurs in poorer countries. Websites like Kiva. And why can't we do the same thing in London? One of the projects I'm working on is why is it easy for me to lend $25 to an entrepreneur in a poorer country to start their own business, but why can I not lend, along with other people, chunks of £25 to entrepreneurs in some of the poorer communities in London to help them start their business? And it's one of the projects I've been tackling with the FCA and financial regulation, but I think it's going to be hugely exciting. But we've also got to help those who are left behind. There are many people who don't use technology. There are many people who it's too much of a barrier. And how do we make it easier? How do we make the interfaces easier? I'll give you an example. One of the constituent cases that I'm taking up at the moment is an accountant who files all his clients' cases or in paper. He doesn't go online. He's too worried. He doesn't want to go up that steep learning curve. He's been doing it for too many years. And what's worse is that HMRC are actually taking him to court and actually going to fine him for trying to file things by paper. How do we solve that problem? Some people say, it will die out in a few years' time and everyone will be using online. But what about people today? What about people who want their bills by paper rather than online? How do we make that easier? How do we face that challenge, overcome that sort of fear? But at the same time, also challenges. And one of the big challenges, many people in the tech sector tell me about, is the uncertainty caused by Brexit and how they meet that challenge. Anyone who's read Nicholas Nassim Taleb's Black Swan will know that he says there are three ways to respond to discontinuities and changes. He says you can either complain about it and and whinge about it and go on about it, or or go into a dive, as it were, or you can actually say I'm going to be pretty robust, I'm going to survive, or you can actually come out better the other side and thrive. You can dive, you can survive, or you can thrive. Which one do you want to be? Which one does this sector want to be? And what's exciting about that is if you look upon it in an anti-fragile way. Fragile, be destroyed, being robust, that you survive, or thriving by being anti-fragile. Think about the opportunities that also brings to many people. So whatever your views on things like Brexit and some of the political changes happening, it's really important that actually we make sure that we can succeed, and we actually make sure that we shape that in many ways. So one of the huge challenges, one of the big questions around Brexit was actually the whole migration system and the fact that tech needs the best people in the world. And what's really important is that on Tech UK Brexit Advisory Panel, that we make sure that the government is persuaded to make sure that we are not just open to people in Europe, but we are open to the best talent from right across the world. But rather than complain about it and thinking, why can't they improve the system? Why can't guys get together and say, hey, we know the biggest challenge you face is actually how you design a system that's quick and people can apply and online rather than go through the bureaucratic process. Why don't they get together and actually either sell that solution, develop a solution, and either sell it or give it to government when their existing systems are facing huge challenges? Tim Cook, I know many of you will know from Apple, was in town today, and he said that actually he thinks this country's going to do really well, that we're going to thrive out of it, and I think that's hugely exciting to hear. Talked about this, that he's looking to expand. They are creating lots of spare space to expand. That means there are going to be huge opportunities here for all of us. And I think it's really important that all of us, make our voice heard to make sure that Britain continues, after we leave the EU, to be open, tolerant, and not just a European nation, but a truly global nation. And not a country that gives preference to people from the EU, most of whom happen to be white, and puts up barriers to people from outside the EU, most of whom happen to have dark skin. But actually, we select the best talent from right across the world, whatever your colour, whatever your nationality, wherever you are from, whatever your background. So we are a truly global country, not just a European country. And if we can do that, when you see some of the challenges in the world, with people like Trump in the US, and I know people have different views on that. I had a phone call with the Canadian Trade Minister the other day, and he said to me, we are looking to the United Kingdom to be that beacon for an open, tolerant trading society. And that's a challenge I think we all have to face up to. But if we're going to do that, we need you guys, the innovators of today and tomorrow, to play your role to make sure that we continue to welcome the very best talent from around the world. And whenever we face challenges, whether they're global, local, or around the area, that actually what it is that we don't just get into a dive, we don't just survive, that we really thrive. I was hugely excited by some of those apps I saw. I'll pick out two in particular. I think the clothes swap one, I don't think anyone want my clothes. And I was thinking, gosh, I wonder if I should put some of my old suits up on that or something. And I also wondered, why did Russell order a triple XL coat? I couldn't quite work that out, actually, and how it actually fitted him. And the second one was Just Jam. I started playing in a band again after 25 years. And actually, I was like that drummer on my own. And it took me a bit of time to convince other people who hadn't played for 25 years to get together. And now it's hugely exciting to be playing in a band again. You probably don't want to hear me, and I'm not going to break into a song now. But I just want to thank you once again. But before I do that, I want to congratulate the Makers Academy, those who have graduated here in November 16. I want to thank the previous graduates, and those who are going. And I want to thank people who are thinking of coming on this course. I know your friends, your family are all incredibly proud of you. And actually, you are going to be the guys who create the opportunities and change the world for the better over the next few years and for years to come. Thank you very much.